And now I can start, right? Okay. Yeah, it's a pleasure for me to welcome you to the panel 17 of this International Forum 2025, Doing Futures in Precarious Time. Um, I'm really happy to be here. My name is Cristel Pachute, and I will moderate this panel entitled Narratives of Landscape and Indigenous Future in Brazil. The panel is conformed by three speakers. We are waiting for Luisa, the last one. I hope she will join. If not, we will continue with the program, and we have at the first place Yasmin Lidia Gonçalves. She is a graduate in a student in architecture at the Universidade Federal de Minas Gerais, and she's currently a master research at the same institution. Her research seeks to investigate Afro-American spatial narratives as well as understand resilient counter-colonial cosmologies. To this end, her research focuses on the reinados of Minas Gerais, Brazilian religious festivals that blend elements of Catholicism with rituals of African origin. She intends to map their symbolic paths and affective places in the urban space and in an integrate analysis of the tangible and intangible dimensions involved in the celebration in honor of Our Lady of the Rosario. Rosario, yeah. And she will speak today at first, as I mentioned, and after her, I will introduce the next speaker. So now is your time, Yasmin. Welcome and thank you everyone for being here. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Now I will share my screen. Okay.
Yes.
I've prepared a presentation. Just a minute. Do you see my screen?
Yes. But maybe you
Okay.
can put it. Okay, yes. We see that you're not as a presentation, but as
Yes.
Yes, it's a map. You can share it like full screen if you want to.
Yes, I'm trying to do this, but
It's confusing.
yes. Okay. It's full screen now for you?
Yes.
Okay. So, my research is entitled Narratives of the Landscape, Space and Memory in the Reinados of Minas Gerais. So this research aims to establish a relationship between the tangible and intangible dimensions involved in reinados, those Afro-Brazilian festivals dedicated to Our Lady of Rosario. And it also tried to map the special narratives of the celebrations, especially the landmarks and paths linked to their cosmology and rituals. And this investigation involved the comparison of two case studies, the Reinado of Cerro and the Reinado of Diamantina, both cities located in Minas Gerais. So first, I'll talk quickly about the origin and iconography of Our Lady of the Rosary. The devotion emerged in the 13th century in France, but in Portugal, it was diffused in the 15th century. And after the Council of Trent, Virgin Mary was used as a symbol of the Counter-Reformation. So the belief was also introduced in Africa and America, who were being colonized by Portugal at that time. So it held some similarities with cults and religions that already existed in Africa. It facilitated the diffusion of the belief in the territory, and after also the diffusion of the belief in Brazil. In Brazil, specifically in Minas Gerais, it was diffused by the third orders. I need to explain it quickly. In Minas Gerais, we didn't have first orders who are monastic orders, okay? The brotherhoods who emerged here were lay because due to the mining activities that were developed here, the Portuguese crown wanted to have a rigid control of the territory and how can I say, avoid the influence of other institutions like the Catholic Church here. So the brotherhoods were divided by the social and racial condition of its members. So there were black and mixed race brotherhoods and white brotherhoods. They didn't interact, okay? But in each brotherhood had its own statute, so a set of rules that must be followed by the faithful members, and internal organization with administrative functions. Now I will do a quickly characterization of the study areas. So both Cerro and Diamantina were cities originated during the 18th century, so during the colonial period, with the discovery of gold in Minas Gerais, okay? As I said previously, these territories had a rigid control by the Portuguese crown, and they had a major presence of African people who were slaves in Brazil and worked in the mines. So these people were responsible to establish the first Black brotherhoods in Minas Gerais, and the brotherhoods dedicated to Our Lady of Rosário. This is a map that shows Cerro and Diamantina. Do you see my pointer?
Yes.
Here
Yes.
is Diamantina, called Arraial do Tejuco in 18th century, and here is Cerro, which was called Vila do Príncipe. They're very closely located. Now I'll explain a little bit about this tangible imaginary, the ritualistics and cosmology involved in the reinados. So first I'll talk a little bit about the reinado of Diamantina. It was first documented in 19th century by European travelers. It had a very syncretic configuration. It mixed elements of Catholic cult and Afro religions. So it had the presence of Black kings, Black queens, also traditional dance groups that emulated the cosmology of African religions. Okay. But in the 20th century, there was a decline of these traditional dance groups, and the rites were simplified to with the objective to separate the reinado from its African metrics origins, okay? But in at this situation, remained like this for many decades until 2024, when the Rosary Brotherhood, which still exists, um, decided to reclaim the authentic elements of the festival and advocate for the Rosary's own style. So, reclaim this Afro-American elements, syncretic elements of the festival. The Reinado of Cerro, in the other hand, didn't suffer with many modifications over the years. It still follows the guidelines of the Brotherhood Statute and has the presence of the traditional groups of the Reinado that are related to different ethnic groups and cosmologies of Africa, and also are related to the formation legend of the devotion to Our Lady of Rosary in Brazil. Now I'll start to present the paths and special appropriations of Reinado. So how the celebration occupies the urban space and makes itself visible in the landscape. So I'll talk first about the Reinado of Diamantina. It has many processions, okay? The first one is called the Mastro. I'll show the map to explain, it will be better. And in this ceremony, the dance groups and the brotherhood members, they depart from the Rosary Church and go to the Amparo Church, Our Lady of Amparo Church, to bring the flag with the image of Our Lady of Rosary. And then they elevate this flag in the churchyard of the Church of Rosary. That's a moment of the festival with fireworks and music. Okay, the dance groups also sing during all the traject, all this traject. This way, the Church of Rosary is the place where are hold the main liturgies of the festival, okay, like this flag raising, the coronation of the image of Our Lady of Rosary. And to mark this time of festivities, it's always decorated with flowers, and how you can see in these images, okay? I would explain a little bit about all the churches involved in this processions, but I think I won't have time to do so. I will try to be fast. So, but I just need to say that the Church of Our Lady of Amparo was created by a brotherhood of pardos, so mixed race individuals. That's important to say. They also created brotherhoods separated from the Black Brotherhood. So there was this division between mixed race and Black individuals, not just between Black and white people. Here we have some images of the flag of Our Lady of Rosary right here, the Church of Amparo. Okay, this ceremony of the flag happens in Saturday evening, and in Sunday morning, there is the procession of Reinado, where it's formed the Reinado effectively, which consists in the presence of the Black King and the Black Queen, who show this devotion to Our Lady of Rosary, okay? And they are followed by the dance groups in the ceremony. So, the procession of Reinado departs from the Church of Our Lady of Mercedes, number 4 in this image, and it follows until the church, the Cathedral of Saint Anthony, number 3, right here. The Church of Our Lady of Amparo, Our Lady of Mercedes is always is also a church that was built by a mixed race brotherhood, okay? And in the past, these mixed race brotherhoods had conflicts with the Rosary Brotherhood. They competed between themselves, but nowadays they have just a common goal, that is to perpetuate the traditional festivities and rituals. So, as I said, the procession follows until the Cathedral of Saint Anthony, where is realized a festive mass. And after this mass, there is another procession to the Church of Rosary. So the procession travels along many streets on the historic center of Diamantina. And in the churchyard of the Church of Rosary, the image of Our Lady of Rosary is coronated. And that's also a very important moment of the cult. You can see in the image at the right side here. There are many dances, and the dance groups also sing, and they sing in African dialects. So, as I said previously, it's a very syncretic manifestation. Yeah, and here in the map, you can see the path of this procession to the Church of Rosary that departs from the Cathedral of Saint Anthony. This map just it's a synthesis of all the previous paths and processions that I've already described. Now I'll talk about the Reinado of Cerro. It doesn't have as many processions as the Reinado of Diamantina, so I'll talk first about the landmarks of this festival. First, I need to talk about the Church of Our Lady of Rosary from Cerro. Different from the church in Diamantina, that church is much simple. Sorry, it has a simple ornamentation, but it's protected by the local level as patrimony due to its symbolic and historic value, okay, rather than this aesthetic value. All the churches in Diamantina, except the Cathedral of Saint Anthony, are protected at national level as patrimony, but due to the aesthetic value, not the symbolic value related to the festivities of Rosary. As you can see, that's an image of the Church of Rosary from Cerro, the internal part of it. And as the Church of Diamantina, it's also decorated to mark the time of the festivity with pennants, flowers in the internal part. And another important landmark in Cerro is the square of João Pinheiro, located next to the Church of Our Lady of Carmo, where happens a performance of the origin legend of Rosary. So they do a staging of this legend. And also in the past, the coronation of the image used to happen in this place. Nowadays, the coronation happens in the Church of Rosary to highlight the symbolic value of this temple. And that's important to say that the religious festivals in Brazil have a very popular character with the occupation of streets, squares, many public spaces. So it establishes a more intimate and direct contact with the divine and also sacralizes the profane space. Uh, that's an image of the coronation performance. And other important place to the Reinado of Cerro, it's the houses of the festeiros. Festeiros are the people who organize the festival, and they are responsible to hold banquets and receptions throughout all the festival and different moments. And these banquets and receptions have a ritualistic value, okay, associated with sharing and abundance. And also the houses of the festeiros are decorated to mark the moment of the festivity, as well as the houses of the all the people, all the population in Diamantina, even those ones who aren't directly involved in the organizing of Reinado, they have this attitude of decorating their own houses to mark this time of festivity. And we can see this during the Sunday procession that also travels along many streets of Cerro. It's a very extensive path, as you can see in this image, to contemplate many churches, squares, and so all the people in the city can see, enjoy the procession. Well, to conclude, as we could see, these manifestations in Cerro and Diamantina are very different. Cerro has a major support from the public authorities in the financial and in the structural aspects, while Diamantina depends more on the organization of the Rosary Brotherhood. But both celebrations have the same goal, that is perpetuate the expressions of African identity and reclaim symbols that were instituted by the colonizers. And also, in both manifestations, we can see the relationship between the cosmology, the rituals, and the public space. So the relationship between the intangible and the tangible dimensions. So to perpetuate these festivals, both dimensions must be considered by the patrimony politics, but that's not what we see here in Brazil. These both fields, the material and the material, are still seen as separated things, and that's not good for the perpetuation of the reinados and other intangible manifestations that rely on this physical support of the urban space. That's it. Here are the references. And muito obrigada. Thank you for the attention.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. It was really, really interested to hear everything about that. I mean, I have some questions. I put some of them already in the chat, but we can start the discussion after Amanda's presentation. Is okay for you? But yeah, it was really nice. Thank you so much. And well, yeah, our next speaker is Amanda Lemos Peçanha, from the Universidade Federal Fluminense, Brazil. Amanda Lemos is a master student in communication and holds a degree in media studies from Universidade Federal Fluminense. Her master research is about music, materiality, and memory, and explores the intersection between Black culture, digital platforms, and identity in the Brazilian context. Her trajectory combines academic research with content production and project management in public and private institutions. In this event, she presents the work Fragile Futures on Stage, Lean da Quebrada, Digital Precarity, and Brazilian Politics of Platform. Yeah, thank you so much, Amanda, for being here. And now the screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, and congratulations to the presentation, Yasmin. So it's a pleasure to be here exchanging knowledge with you. As Crystal said, my name is Amanda. I'm a master student from UF in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro. And my presentation will be a little different than the previous one, because it will be more like a conversation, and that's it. So today I want to talk about something we all experience: the platforms we use every day, the social platforms you use every day. So imagine you're a musician. So you upload your work to YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, or another social media platform, and millions of people can see you. And it sounds it may sound democratic, right? But here's the catch: even if many people have access to your production, it doesn't mean that they will effectively consume it. And that's not just about personal preferences or taste discussion. It's a discussion about power. The visibility enabled by these digital platforms is a mediated visibility. So here's my first question. In the digital sphere, this mediated space, who decides what gets seen, who gets remembered, and who gets erased? This is a struggle faced by many artists, mainly the subaltern ones. And in the work presented today, I analyze specifically the case of Linda Quebrada. She's a Black transgender Brazilian artist who shows us both the promises and, in the other hand, the dangers, the struggles of our digital world. So, who is Linda Quebrada, first of all? She's a singer, performer, and activist from Brazil. She gained visibility through platforms like YouTube, releasing music independently, so no record label, no mainstream media support, none of that. And her song Envia de Ser became a landmark of her trajectory, her music trajectory. It's a powerful performance about Black trans identity posted on YouTube. where fans found it, shared it, and built a community around it. And this seems like a success story, right? Like a story where platforms like more specifically YouTube in this case, are democratizing our culture, especially in Brazil, where we face big issues with this population. Because unfortunately, according to the dossier on murders and violence against Brazilian trans, published annually by the National Association of Trans, called ANTRA in Brazil. Brazil, unfortunately, is the country that kills the most trans people in the world for the 16th consecutive year. So it may sound positive, giving voice to those who've been silenced and killed in our country. But there's another side to this story. There's a paradox because the same platforms that give visibility can also take it away. And I bring two major problems, two big points in this discussion. The first one is the algorithmic bias. So platforms use algorithms to decide what content gets promoted, and these algorithms aren't intentionally prejudiced, but they reproduce existing social biases that disadvantage marginalized communities, including Black artists, LGBTQ plus content, and especially Black transgender women like Lynn. So the problem becomes even more complex because these algorithmic filters and platform policies operate behind closed doors. So with little transparency about how these decisions are made and how we became to this point that we are right now. And moreover, these algorithms follow the profit logic of big tech companies, that are companies from the global north, which themselves reproduce colonial patterns of extraction and control. And this means that when it's profitable to amplify subaltern voices like Linda Quebrada or whatever one, platforms will do so. But this visibility is always seems precarious and market driven. We face copyright strikes, content removals, and demonetization too. It happened with little explanation, and Black women artists face these restrictions disproportionately. And the visibility that marginalized creators achieve is constantly under threat, mediated by corporate interests rather than genuine equity or justice. And the second point is the content turnover. Everything moves so fast online. We can see it in social media. So today's a viral video is not a viral video tomorrow. Tomorrow's is just a forgotten post, a forgotten content. And older works get buried, and with them, the collective memory disappears or just are tensioned or get reactivated in the future. But it's a future that we don't know when or even if it will happen. So this flow follows enterprise logic based on profit and furthermore power, as I said before. So in this scenario, our memory as subaltern identities become fragile. And as Spivak asked in another context, in this constant context of platformization, I question, can the subaltern speak? In our digital age, it's not just about speaking. It's about being heard, being seen, being remembered. And where they can speak, the marginalized voices, the subaltern voices, where they can speak, what can they speak? Which kind of narratives are possible in this this kind of mediated visibility in social platforms. And in the work, I bring three key concepts to this part of the discussion. The fragile futures, that is this idea that marginalized artists must constantly negotiate tomorrow within an unstable present, so nothing is guaranteed. The meanwhile is this place living in a suspended time where futures are possible but never certain. And Linda Quebrada creates knowing her work might disappear at any moment. And active hope, despite precarity, artists like Lin keep creating. This isn't naive optimism, it's political resistance. So, through a decolonial feminist lens, we see that platforms politics aren't just technical issues, they're about epistemic justice, whose knowledge counts, whose stories survive. And here in Brazil, we're trying to address these issues through our legislation, but in my opinion, it's not enough. But there's a work ongoing. We have two law projects ongoing. The first one is called the Fake News Bill that aims for transparency in how algorithms recommend content and other stuff, but I think this part of the project is more relevant to this work. And the second one establishes a national artificial intelligence policy. And these are important steps to this discussion, but here's the critical point that regulation can help these struggles or just hurt. Done right, it can amplify marginalized voices. Done wrong, it can create new forms of silencing under legal frameworks. So the key asking, are Black transgender women like Lynn at the table when these policies are being written? Or are these structural inequalities simply being coded into new laws? And this isn't just about one artist or country. I'm talking about Linda Quebrada, but it's about something bigger. It's about cultural sovereignty in the global south. And when algorithms control what gets seen, when platforms decide what gets achieved, we're talking about who writes story, which memories survive, whose futures become possible. And for artists, for subaltern artists, every upload becomes a kind of political act, asserting the right to exist, to circulate, to be remembered. And what we're witnessing is the platformization of culture. So, this restructuring of cultural production around platform logic. And this restructuring is not neutral because as I said, it reflects and reproduces existing power structures. So, thinking about all these things, to conclude, next time you scroll through your feed, try to ask yourself, who am I not seeing? Whose work has been buried? What stories are being erased? And what stories are being counted for me, for my in my country, in my territory, in my identity? So Linda Quebrada's story reminds us that the fight for justice today include the fight for digital justice, the right to be seen, heard, and remembered. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you really for your present your ideas. That what you brought to share with us. I think I am really trying to connect the two presentation, but I have punctual question for each of you. I don't know. Also, if you have, I mean, we can try to have a discussion here. It's not like I am asking you, and you can ask you also yourself, and maybe we also have some question on YouTube. I don't know. Yeah, but it's okay. I can start. By asking or putting these things that I was I kind of I think that I found in both of your talks today is this idea of visibility, right? I mean, in this in Yasmin presentation was about taking the space and to draw things to put things there that that connect the people not only with I mean with this the religion with the spiritual part of that but also with the story, right, with the past but also in the present and this Amanda presentation on the other hand what about visibility and the and the digital area, right, in this median and platforms and in this other in this world that is there and that where we also are part of. Um, I was yeah thinking about and how this how in your point, Amanda, it was more about visibility in this public space, but also like a way to affirm or to confirm the presence. And the other way, Amanda, was the visibility in a way to see or to ask us what is not there, what cannot, what thing we not see, right? I mean, and I don't know if I'm wrong, but I actually wanted to start with this idea of yeah, visibility. And in your presentation, Yasmin, you spoke up, you spoke about tangible and intangible. My first question for you will be, um, how do you, and you are, or yeah, why? Yeah, my very first question is why mapping? It's maybe it's simple, but it's or so as I understood it, mapping is also a way to or why? Why are you using that? Sorry, yeah.
That's a good question, actually. Um, um, well, I'm an architect, okay. I was graduated in architecture,
Mm,
so I guess I will always try to elucidate these questions related to the cultural heritage um, with a special in the special dimension, okay. Even the manifestations, the cultural heritage that's related with the intangible or the immaterial aspect, I will try to comprehend them by the spatial analysis, okay. So I guess mapping is the easiest tool to visualize these intangible manifestations in a physical support.
yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. That is why I understood from your presentation that it's also, but it's really interesting because actually I'm also working with something similar, but trying to track this intangible or the if we can speak about a metaphysical ontological thing in the literature, right? And that is, I mean, every and we can find different way ways to track this, or to connect this idea, or to find this intangible to not visible in in the space, or in a way, in a kind of materiality. And I think I was just wondering if this mapping, this image that you get at the end, if they are representing also something else. I mean, are this mapping just mapping, or they can seen as figures, as images, or as something that you can again connect again with the story, with the religion, with people. That is.
Yeah, I think is exactly my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Through these visual representations, elucidate things that are not visible. There is an Australian author, she's called Laura Jane Smith, and she works in the field of cultural heritage, but she says that all heritage is intangible. So even the most material heritage, like a church, as um, I said in my research, has a intangible dimension. It's connected with immaterial values, symbols. So yeah, it's not something that we can separate. All the time we are working with this both aspects.
Thank you so much, Yasmin. I also, in this direction, I want to ask Amanda about, because you spoke about this visibility, right? And this the mediation, all this information that is circulating there, and actually, my question was how to have access to this mediation, to the algorithm. Are you working exactly with, how are you tracking these power interactions in this medium? Do you have like um mm, yeah, do you have access to this information? Or in case you don't, how are you managed to establish this, to find this information, uh, to argue, to defend your point? Yeah, exactly. That's my.
Okay, that's a great question. As I said in my presentation, these policies of the algorithms in the social media are not so clear for us, or not so easy to get access. And my first point is that that's a problem. So if it's not clear for us, that we are consuming this content, that's the first problem. And then I use in my work, I have like a theoretic theory review, like the theories of the platformization, and studies that have been developed for many years, and people that are observing this flows before me. But I'm just pointing to some things like, oh, okay, we have this opaque filters, opaque policies, but for some identities, it may be different. It may be more hard to handle, more hard to deal with. So that's the point. These opaque filters, these opaque policies are a problem by itself. So I think that's it. I don't know if I answered the question, but for me, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think it's difficult, but do you think that is necessary and it will be maybe possible to access to this information in some time, or is part of the discussion right now, or what is the situation, yeah, in Brazil?
I think I don't know if it's possible to access it someday. I hope so. But I think the way that we're taking in the discussions about it is a way that we're taking to try to achieve it, to try to get this information more clearly and have the questions that the answers for the questions that we are tensioning. I think that's it.
Also, thank you so much for sharing with us this concept. I was also thinking about this idea of fragility, né? And also meanwhile and ex active hope. What is the last one that you shared with us? The
It's active hope. It's
active
like
hope, yeah.
active hope. Um it's like a kind of political resistance.
Mhm.
Like we have these fragile futures, but we actively try to have this hope of these
Mhm.
possibilities of future that we are trying to build in the present, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. I don't know if you have some questions among among you, or if you want to maybe share something else. I think we still have, yeah, we can take time. Take some minutes more to speak about the thing. Uh, I was asking, I mean, at the end, it was clear for me, Yasmin, what you mean about reinado, but I think that is the festivity, right? It's the fest, or what is exactly that?
Well, it's hard to explain
Mhm.
to people who are not Brazilian, I guess, because
Mhm.
it's so specific from our culture. But yeah, it's the festivity itself. Well, I'll try to explain in a more detailed way. It can be the term used to nominate the festivity in general, but it can also refer to a specific ceremony among the festivity
Mhm.
in which there is the Black King and the Black Queen. So
Mhm.
the term can be used for both these situations.
Okay, I go. Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, in Mexico, we also have some. Yeah, of course, similar but not exactly the same. And we also use other concept to name. I mean, you also use this way. The collective of people. How did you call it in Brazil? The no congregation. Uh, the group. Uh,
The brotherhood.
the brother, yeah, exactly. The brother, I mean, in English, but in Portuguese, what is the name of brotherhood?
São as irmandades.
Hermandad. Ah, okay.
Isso.
Sí, sí, sí. Yes. Uh, and I was thinking maybe it's like a reinado is like a bigger, like a bigger group from many hermandades, but I also was thinking it's maybe the part, also the celebration, like the fest, but yeah, I think now it's clear. Thank you so much. And what else I wanted to say? Yeah, of course, I hope that we can hear about your research in the future. Like you stay also like in contact to share with us in the maybe next year your results, your new um, uh, I don't know, maybe something more, some yeah, actually, yeah, more about your project and your career. I don't know. Do you want to share something else? Right.
For me, it's okay.
Mhm.
And you, Yasmin.
Uh, I guess I would like to say just something else.
Mhm.
I think that both my research and Amanda's research, um, they kind of break this false idea um, that people outside South America have, that there is a racial democracy here and that we don't have any problems related to racial and social conditions. That's not true. We have many problems. But as Amanda said, uh, it doesn't uh, put our communities on these vulnerable groups in a place of I I'm trying to search the word in English, but these communities are fighting. They're actively fighting and searching ways to reassure their identity. So it's really a vision, a way of acting that's absolutely counter colonial. It's decolonial.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's important. You know, we don't have to. We need to break this image of. I wouldn't like to use the word victims,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's it. We are actually fighting and reassuring our identities and ancestrality, and I think that's important to point out.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, of course. I mean, um, when I was saying that, in a way, you research like confirm this presence, like the taking of the public space to celebrate. It's a confirmation, but of course, the other ways, Amanda, like talking about the things that also this artist. What is the name? Sorry, I forgot this. The
Linda Quebrada.
Linda Quebrada. I mean,
Her
like
real
speaking
name is
about
Lina Pereira, but the artistic name is Linda
Linda
Quebrada.
Quebrada, exactly. To share this her story with us is also way. I mean, not like speaking about what about this not visibility or this difficult to be visible. I mean, it's not to negate the visibility and the actually the this fight that she is fighting right now. Exactly, exactly. That doesn't negate that she exists. That he's. I mean that she, her, or he. Sorry, I she name. She,
Uh,
right?
she.
Is she? Okay, sorry. Yeah. That she's there and that we are speaking about exactly a life and not, I mean, not just a person, but a community, right? And many other communities in Brazil. Yeah, thank you really for remind us about that. And yeah, because yeah, sometimes it's actually like a war, right? And a way to and yeah, and not just like sometimes by from or since from these communities, but also uh, working with these communities, with these people, right? So actually, also like in a way, also working with them or speaking about them is also a way to perpetuate this yeah positionality, yeah, this way to decolonize in a way the war, right? I mean, the work that you also doing is important in this way. Yeah. Thank you so much. And
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you for your your comments, and thank you, Yasmin. I really enjoyed to watch your presentation. I've been in Minas Gerais, but I didn't have access before to this discussion in this deep, so thank you so much.
I don't know, Caroline, do we have some questions in in YouTube?
No, we don't
No.
have
Okay.
questions right now.
Okay, I think then if it's okay for you, we can finish here. I mean, we are already like 30 minutes. We have already still 30 minutes, but that's exactly the time that the other panelists will take. So we are really on time. You did it amazing. Thank you so much for everything. And yeah, I hope we kept in touch because I mean your research really are as really as I am fascinated by them, and I hope that we can continue collaborate in the future. Please stay in touch, and yeah, I
Yes,
wish you all the best. Thank you so much, Caroline.
I really
And
want to be with you when I go to Germany in the next year, so it will
yeah,
be
yeah, we are waiting for
fun.
you.
Thank you. It will be
In April,
fun.
right, Amanda? April.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
I also would like to thank you,
Mhm.
everyone, for the opportunity and congratulate Amanda for her research. That's I found it amazing,
Thank you.
and I really love Linda Quebrada. So yeah,
Yes, she's amazing.
Mm.
yes. So I hope we all stay in touch. That was really great.
Yeah, good.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.